Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the final word. Crystal Palace 4, Everton 0 out of the FA Cup. And yeah, just another day in the office, wasn't it, Buzz, really?
Another away game. Everton played away, and there's the result. That's basically what it is. Dumped out, and unsurprising, really, given how mentally weak we are when we play away from home. And you know, the people you feel sorry for are the 4,000 Evertonians that went down there. You know, made the long journey down there, up at the crack of dawn. You know, you would have thought that the players realised that there was a place at Wembley at stake, and it seemed like they didn't, and you know, ended up going out with a whimper really after making a good start to the game, and went out with a whimper. And too often it's been the case. The minute this team's knocked off course, it doesn't know how to get back on, and is normally comfortably beaten in the end.
Yeah, obviously we had to deal with people being cup tied. We obviously had to deal with the suspension of Ireland. Little things, I suppose, like Begovic, who was due to play, getting sick, and you know, Pickford obviously a number one coming back, but a couple of little things like that. But again, a change of formation, because of the lack of midfielders, wanting to get another, you know, going sort of 3 at the back, which ends up just being, let's be honest, it ends up just being 5 at the back. I mean, that's sort of the biggest thing I still can't quite fully understand about Frank Lampard when he plays 3 at the back, is that you know it's going to be, you know that it's always going to be 5. So it doesn't. So
it's full backs, isn't it? That's why. That's what it is. You know, he played it at Derby, and he played it at Chelsea, but having Reece James, you know, and Marco Alonso bombing down the wings for Chelsea or whatever it was, and having, for, you know, Ben Chilwell, whatever, for Everton, having John Joe Kenny and Seamus Coleman, it's not quite the same, and it does end up being 5 at the back, and that's, you know, that's the problem he's got. 5 at the, or 3 at the back isn't necessarily always a problem. People go, oh, it never works, whatever. If it's executed right, it can work. The problem is when Everton play it ends up being 5 at the back, because the lads you've got doing that job don't get up the pitch. No. John Joe Kenny doesn't get up the pitch. James Coleman can't get up the pitch enough. And that's why it ends up being a different formation than what he probably has an idea in his head of what it's going to do. It never looks like that.
But listen, we started the game really well. You know, big cup tie, Everton fans in good voice, you could hear them. We started really, really strongly, you know, pressing, harrying, not letting them get on the ball, getting control of the game. And for that first 15 minutes, you were thinking they're up for this. They know what it's all about. They're going to make sure that whatever happens today, it's going to be a close game, and we're going to put everything into it. But unfortunately, in those 10-15 minutes, we never really created anything of note, apart from maybe the Michael Keane chance, which, whether it being offside or not, I don't know, depending on if they had the same VAR Liverpool had. But that was a big chance, because he had the whole goal to aim at, you know, and you know, I think it was Ben Godfrey who slid in and just missed it as well. You know, that's up to, you know, you take the chance first, and then you worry about offside later. You never know, it could have been onside the way, you know, the lines are drawn. But for me, I don't think we made quite enough of that. It allowed, for me, almost in that time, it allowed Crystal Palace to get a grip of us, in terms of, we've ridden out the storm now. And then obviously we got awful injury to Andres Townsend, who it really does look like
it's a season-ender one.
Yeah, it looks like a really, really bad one, doesn't it? You could tell just the way he landed and the way all the weight went on one leg and everything, that it looked like a really bad one. So, and that for us, that was the momentum changer, wasn't it? Afterwards, after that happened and making the sub, and we never got going again, did we? We just didn't have what it Palace changed the way they were playing, and we never got back into it.
Yeah, it did shift the momentum. We had started the game really well. We'd had opportunities. Richarlison had fired one over. He should have probably done a bit better with. We were forcing corners. They couldn't get out their own half. And then the Townsend injury came and it knocked the stuffing out of us. And even though we did, when the game resumed, got back on top for a little bit, even with them going off. It wasn't quite the same. They mixed it up a little bit. And the thing was that the big difference maker was they scored with the real first attack. They broke out of defence and we should have dealt with it on the touchline. We didn't, kept it in, honestly kept it in, and we end up conceding a corner. Pickford arguably should deal with the first corner better than he does. But the second corner we don't pick up, and the lad is given a free header in the box practically, and you're 1-0 down. And for them, they haven't been able to get out their half, and they score with the first attack. It takes the pressure off. And with us, that going behind, away from home in particular, it's a huge way back for Everton. Yeah. Other teams would just ride it out and go, we'll keep doing what we're doing and we'll see.
It's also, like, you watch our players and you can see what's coming. They'd had, as you said, they'd had the first corner, which he genuinely looked like he had a shot. Caught Pickford out a little bit. But once that goal goes in, you do get the sense of players in their heads thinking, oh, we've worked so hard for 15-20 minutes and this is what happens, and then that's it then. Yeah. You see that straight away. You see that within the body language of everyone slumps, as in we didn't get our rewards and we're 1-0 behind. How are we possibly going to win this game now?
Yeah, that's how it looks. Yeah.
When we've done brilliantly in that time. And that's the problem. There's no resilience. There's no response. You look at the players who were supposed to be the leaders of this team, and I'm just fear. Because going into this game, I had no particular worry about the game itself. I was thinking, right, whatever happens, happens. It's quarter final. Playing a team who are better, they're at home. I'm not personally gonna be worrying and overthink about this game. But the more the game goes on, the more you just see the same old things happening. And that's what annoyed me about the game is that was an opportunity to do something different. That was an opportunity to not have the pressure you feel in the Premier League. That was an opportunity on the pitch and off the field to do things slightly different. You got 5 subs. You can bring players on who haven't been playing. You can give opportunities to young players. You can change the formation. You can do whatever you want to do. It doesn't really matter, especially when you're in the position you are. And again, we didn't respond. The same players did the same things. The same players wilted. Michael Keane running around like he's wearing wellies again. There's one not long after where I think it was he chasing one of the lads down. He pulls it back and the lad puts it narrowly wide.
Zaha puts it wide. Yeah. Should have scored. Yeah. Yeah, he looks like he's running in sand.
And he just looks like, but it's not even that he's not quick enough to catch the lad. He doesn't anticipate that the lad's going to get there.
He doesn't even throw a leg out to try and block the cross.
Same as what we saw from Seamus Coleman at Spurs. To me, again, it's about characters responding, and it's not. You watch the second goal. Oh, it's the second goal is Everton in a nutshell. It really, really is Everton.
It was handball.
Well, yeah, but things happen, don't they?
No, I'm saying it was handball.
That's what happens.
What makes you laugh is, and I'm not listening. We were already getting beaten. It's irrelevant, really. But if you can't look at that and say it's not intentional. He knocks the ball back to his man. He's knocking the ball away. It is nonsense when you look at it. You see some of the stuff that gets stopped. That's nonsense. But from that, Everton have to react better, and they don't. And they don't have to do anything, and they're in our box. And Zaha cuts it back, and Mateta just jogs in. No one else going with him, and just sweeps it under Pickford. And you're 2-0 down, and really at that stage you're thinking, yeah, it's over, really. Because this team has no idea how to stay in the fight and how to force something. And, that was how it played out, and it's ridiculous because there's no pressure on the ball. No one's trying to stop any crossing. No one's tracking men, and no one's accountable.
But that goal, I mean, it's on the halfway line. It's a dead easy 1-2. That he's away. He runs away from, Seamus Coleman so easily, and then you're watching other players like. Why is you watch the Corey, he's just like this.
Gomez.
You watch it from the other side, and the Corey's like looking around and pointing at people as in like, it's like, no lad, your job is to get back and burst the gut. You got Holgate, comes over like that, Michael Keane, like that. Everyone's just strolling around. No one anticipates the danger. No one gets out there and closes them down and says, go on, try and do what you can do. Now I'm here. No one's stopping the cross. It's embarrassing. It really is embarrassing. And it's like you just said there, it's how players just can't, they don't see what to me are just the very fundamentals of football.
You've got to have desire though. You've got to have that desire to go and work hard. The desire to go and stop a cross, the desire to go and get in people's faces. And if you don't have that, teams will play around you, whatever. I was watching my lads' team yesterday morning, and they got battered as well for doing the exact same thing. People just walking around and letting other people do what they want. It's like you have to put pressure on any level of football. And yet, I didn't think I'd see as an unprofessional performance as what I'd just seen in the morning at kids' footy than I'd seen from allegedly professional footballers a couple of hours later. But it was the same thing. You could take the stuff out the kids' game and put it in the pitch and go, well, do you know why they're scoring with these? Because you're not working hard enough. You're not working hard enough. I don't know what you do with this set of players. At Goodison, they're a different team. And that, I guess, is why Frank Lampard looked raging after the game, because you see these running around making sure that people aren't having it easy at home, but then when they cross the white line away from home, it's like they're just a shell of themselves, and that to me is so unprofessional.
I don't think they're a massively different team. I just think
they work harder at home, that's for sure.
No, that's just because they don't get let off. They get let off. They don't have anywhere to hide at home. When after that, you don't have that sort of first 20 minutes and then it dies away. Same thing happened to Southampton.
Well, they've won 4 home games out of 6.
No, I know they have, but
and away from home, they've lost every game.
We haven't been particularly good in many of them.
No, but we've battled, haven't we?
The point being is the 3 home games, now 4 home games, it's the same thing. You start brightly, concede the goal, and then it all falls to bits, because whereas at Goodison stays on top of the team. They don't let them get away with it. They keep on sort of demanding more and putting maybe helping the energy and just not getting on the backs, but just pushing and pushing and pushing, which they don't get away from home. And that's to me, it's just pure inner belief, isn't it? It's just having that inner desire to want to do your job yourself, rather than 37,000 people telling you to do your job. I think personally that's pathetic. I think these are the most pathetic set of players I've ever seen in my life.
Attitude-wise, yeah.
I've seen worse teams, but these are pathetic. For the price it cost us to assemble them, I just find them pathetic, deplorable, some of them. And I would love to just bomb half of them out. Well, I mean more than half of them. Because I think what's happened is it's almost become infectious. It's spread like a disease within the squad of like, well, he's not doing his job, so I don't have to do my job. Where it should be the other way. It should be players standing up going, no, follow me. I'll show you what it's all about. That one play, Anthony Gordon, I suppose, is the one player people can point to. But I don't think Anthony Gordon will have he's not going to have the stature in the squad where he can turn around and point fingers. 21-year-old, first proper season. There needs to be someone in the squad who can turn round in every single game and just look at other team players and shake their head. We had a period of time where I remember when Lukaku was sort of doing that, scoring goals at one end and they were conceding. He could look at the rest of the team and go, what are you doing? We don't have that one player, and we haven't for a while, who can turn around and just point fingers and go, this is a disgrace. And then that one player then carries the fan base as well. They're all so fragile. You know, and as I said, James Coleman being the captain, his performances are not good enough. So can he come out and say that? I don't know. We're just lacking that one person that needs to. I don't know. Maybe it's the manager, but maybe the manager feels like they're so fragile. He alluded to it after the match, but there's gonna have to be someone soon who comes out and just says, This is a disgrace, but I don't know.
Well, he has come out yesterday. He said that maybe they haven't got the bollocks for it. He said it. He said it's all very well at home, but you know, you shouldn't have to question whether you've got. It's all very well saying, I've got the desire and the fight for it. I've got all that, but have you actually got the bollocks to do it when it matters? The manager come out and said it. Used that exact phrase yesterday on a couple of occasions. And he's right. They haven't. They go away from home. They're not a team that's won one away game since August. They won one away game all season, and it's the middle of March. You can tell they've got no bollocks. You can put some games down to bad luck. Some games can be down to injury. But that's not a coincidence when you've won one game away from home all season. You can't put that down to coincidence. No. Can't put that down to saying, oh, we've been unlucky. We haven't. Wasn't it the ninth time they conceded 3 or more yesterday this season? So, you know, and again, 2 goals in 6 minutes, wasn't it? Wasn't it between the first and second goal, something like that or whatever. So, you know, you've got the biggest thing in the Premier League, and the thing that a lot of teams have, and even average teams who perform better than what you think they would, are resilient. They're capable of grinding results out. They're capable of digging in. They're capable of, if you feel like you're in a game with them. That centre-back yesterday, who's been called up for England after the opening 25 minutes, won't have had an easier 90 minutes or an easier last hour all season. You know, and this is the problem, is that there's too many of our players don't win the battles. Yeah. They don't win the 1v1s. They don't win. You know, Michael Keane doesn't bully people. Mason Holgate doesn't do the same. Midfield, Andre Gomez, I don't know what he does. I honestly don't know what he is. He's not a midfielder. He's certainly not in the 2.
No.
Decore is you know what you're getting with Decore. He'll put himself up, his passing sloppy. But then he can't do, he's been asked to do it all on his own again. Whereas, you know, you've got Richarlison up front, 9 games without a goal. Not good enough. Calvert-Lewin comes on at half-time. Doesn't look like he's even on the pitch. You know, you can go through and pick players out, but as a team, collectively, they're not fighting for each other. They're not. No. And it's not. I've seen some people having a go Frank Lampard, and it's his fault, and listen, he's not without blame. No way. Yesterday, okay, it started well, but I don't think he reacted very well to how we went behind. But I'm not prepared to throw him under the bus for this set of players that have thrown Benitez under the bus, Carlo Ancelotti under the bus, Marco Silva under the bus, Koeman. I'm just not doing it. It can't. If you've got something, a common denominator, and you keep blaming this over here, and then all them other things continue to stay, maybe it isn't this over here. Maybe it's thinking that lot who, you know, actually put a shirt on and jog out and play the game. Because as a manager, you can only do so much. You can prepare your team. You can turn around and go, they're in good nick here, we'll go out and do well. They cross that white line and throw the towel in like they do. It can't be on the manager playing a game. No,
I'm not. I would not blame the manager for, you know.
He's not without some blame yesterday, by the way.
I do think he's. Listen, I do think he's making mistakes. I do think he's trying different things, which ultimately are getting the same sponsors, which means it's the players. I'd like to see. Personally, I think I understand the situation when he's got 2 midfield. He likes to go 3 at the back, and I can understand that. But it ends up being 5, And then yesterday, I thought the second half, putting Anthony Gordon out there when
nonsense.
you've got 5 subs, you've got Michaelenko on the bench, you've also got Patterson, which I can't understand why you wouldn't bring him on. I've seen this before, I don't want that to become a point of thing where people are like, what's going on here? Why? Making more out of it when I just put him on yesterday. I just put him on and gone, this game's gone.
What did he have to lose?
Exactly, and I think there are wins to be made out of things like that, of just going, no, you, get off.
Yeah, right.
I do think...
Isaac Price should have come on. Another one.
But to me, the players they're just, I've said it a million times, and I've seen people criticize me the other day for saying things like, you know, you're not having a go with this player now, are you? Or having a go with that player now. It's like, why? We didn't even play that well against Newcastle, but we got a win out of it. We've done enough to get a win out of it. You know, we weren't brilliant because they were terrible as well. But we did enough, and we stuck together and we got the win. But I wasn't going to go round patting people on the backs for doing the jobs in one game when they haven't done them in nearly half of the other games, or more than half of the other games. And this is what happens. We all at times feed in too much to, you know, those situations. Thursday was more a relief than anything. It was about saving the club, not about the players, about the club, about that being our club. That's why the celebrations were the way they were, because it's our club. It's not those players. No. It's about our club. It's about our club staying in the Premier League.
There's nothing wrong with praising a player when he's done well in a game, but it doesn't mean all of a sudden he's the best thing since sliced bread. You should praise when they do well, but therefore you should be able to criticise when they have a poor game.
Yesterday,
and that's what it's about.
They just reverted to type, and I'm just sick of. They are cheats. They are con men. I don't care what anyone says. They're not good enough as a collective. Most of them are not good enough as individuals. You know, players don't stand up, you know, and sort of take responsibility. And again, I see it one day they're all running around screaming and all this because they've won a game, and the next game they're like little cats. No, you know, there's very little out of them. They're just, you know, it's just, that's the most frustrating thing. It's, I see people, it's not even not, I see people like Ben Godfrey, and I just think to myself, I don't get you at times. One day you're raging and all this, and then in a game like that, you're just strolling around. And they're the people who I want to really grab hold of games and go, well, if you're not doing it, I'm going to do it. And they're the ones I feel sometimes who let us down more than anyone. I look at, listen, Michael Keane, Mason Holgate, they are one of the worst combinations I've ever seen in my life. They're a fucking disaster. They are absolutely frightening. They're a championship centre-back partnership, if that. They're horrendous. And the quicker we can get both... I've said it before, Michael Keane is one of the worst players Everton have ever signed in the history of this football club. He is horrendous for the money we spent on him. He is horrendous. You know, he had the makings of a decent centre-back, but he can't... I don't know. He hasn't got any aggression in him. He's too nice. He's just... And the other fella who thinks... I don't know what he thinks he is. I think he'd rather spend the summer at Love Island than any kind of major tournament. You know, he's pathetic. Absolutely pathetic footballer. And then it just seeps through into the rest of the squad. Just seeps through. Gomez going through the motions. The core abysmal, negative, passing backwards when he should be driving forwards. And it just spreads. And as you said, then you're right. The likes of the Charlison, who just, loves the club and all this kind of thing. But where are you when we actually need you? Where are you when we want someone to get us through a game of football? Stretch teams.
You start taking chances. You had chances, 1-0. You had the one he's tried to flick past Butland. Go all right with your left foot. Got to score them. You know, got top strikers, score them moments. Them moments in games where you're behind. You know, anyone can fall behind in a game. Of course you can. A set piece, it can happen. You've got to be able to respond, and we didn't take the chances. That's the thing. You know, not hitting the target, another one. And it's those moments, it's all very well saying, I want to get to Wembley and I want to do this and I want to do that. Teams who get to Wembley, their strikers take opportunities. And that's the way it is. That's how you get there. And he didn't take any. Dom didn't look like ever getting on the end of anything.
But you create opportunities, don't you, as a football team? We, as I said, after that first 15 minutes and a little spell in the second half when they were quite comfortable, we don't go forward as a team. With Charlison, to be fair, again, there's no one 15 yards with it, with because the formation.
Yeah, I don't know. Listen, I don't know what he was thinking of in the second half with putting Gordon at left wing back, and then because it didn't alter anything. You just replaced the defender with a lad who will work hard for you, but you're taking away his creative qualities. Taking Kenny off. It was just, and I'm not saying Kenny should have stayed on, by the way. I'm just saying it didn't actually change anything the way we were playing. It didn't get us higher up the pitch because we didn't do it. There was no reason not to go forward at the back in the second half and go, you know what, making a couple of changes. Calvert-Lewin on up front, get U2 in wide areas, get another man in midfield and go, let's play higher up the pitch or whatever. I think he got the Gray substitution wrong. I think that should have been a Wobie.
Yeah,
you know, or maybe even Price at that stage and go, actually, we're having the next man in midfield or whatever. But yeah, he is making mistakes. That it didn't help us second half. And that was the most frustrating thing, is that we went in 2 down. And you were like, well, you know what? FA Cup quarter-final at Goodison would 2-0 up at half-time. We'd be wary of them getting a goal, wouldn't we? They'd come out. Palace had come flying out at us at home and that, trying to throw everything at it. We just come out and carried on doing what we were doing. And someone's put it on Twitter. There's about a minute we have the ball, and after 10 minutes into the second half, it doesn't get out of our half. We get it. We all touch it. Possession-wise, great. 100% possession for the 48, 50 seconds we have it. But it goes back to Pickford 9 times. It's like, and that was everything. There was no urgency. No. There was none like, we're running out of time, boys. We've got to get in their box and get chances. There was nothing. Gray had a shot which whistled wide. He had another one which was like a back pass to Butland. Other than that, there was just nothing. And we just, the time just ebbed
But it's
away.
effort though, isn't it? There's no effort into pushing them back. There's no effort. There's no closing down. There's no pressing to put them under pressure. If their centre-backs had the ball, you never seen a collective pressure on. You never seen 3 or 4. We are so lazy. We're not fit as a team either. No. We're lazy. We just let players pass it out and go through midfield, and then because we got 5 at the back, before you know it, they're on top of our defence, and then it's up to our defence to defend it then.
Do you not think we could have played basically on the halfway line in the second half because of Ben Godfrey's pace? We're getting beat 2-0. Why are we so deep? I understand that at 0-0, stay deep, make it difficult, but it was 2-0. And we could have then pushed, because if you move up a bit, you can push everyone higher up.
We can have everyone in one half.
Their biggest threat with pace would have been Zaha, wouldn't he? But if Godfrey had just sat in the middle, he could have mopped up either side. We just didn't do anything in the sack. We didn't do anything.
Yeah.
You know, and that's where Frank Lampard disappointed me yesterday. If he should have gone 2-0 with like 20, he got to the last 25 minutes, he should have gone, right, Patterson's coming on, Isaac Price is coming on, and maybe Michalenko. Yeah. And just gone, we're changing the shape and we're getting higher up the pitch. But Patterson should have been given minutes because he won't play him in the league. So you've got to give the lad the taste of first team football. Yeah. And who knows, he might have gone on a run and put a cross in and we score or whatever, because he's got energy and he's got a bit of hunger. And also Isaac Price is a young lad who he complimented how well he's been training. We needed a midfield player. Yeah. Especially when Gomez had like done that foul with 15 minutes, like 12 minutes left or something, thinking he's ready to be sent off here.
Well, it wasn't.
He should have tracked him off.
Wasn't like. Yeah, I don't get that, because I thought that was a free hit. Yeah, I thought that was a free hit the last half. Don't forget, and it was still only 2-0.
I know, that was it. And then they scored 2 at the end. It's just like we've just whimpered away there, you know. And you know, he could, if he'd have come out after and gone, you know what, I didn't put anyone else on because I didn't want anyone else to be part of that. It was a joke. I remember years ago, not understanding, playing for Burnley, we played Man City and got battered 5-1 or something, or 6-1 at the Platt Lane. Jerry Taggart was marking me kicks in, and the manager coming in the dressing room after the game, there was 3 subs, he didn't put them on. And I remember sitting there thinking, why didn't he bring them on? And he said, no, I didn't put them 3 on, because I didn't want to embarrass them the way you lot embarrassed that chair today. And everyone kind of went, fucking hell. And now if Lampard would have come out and gone, I didn't want to put anyone else on because that was an embarrassment and I didn't want them part of it. I'd have gone, you know what, all right. I still thought he should have put Patterson on. But he didn't even say that, he moaned about it. At the end, said players weren't running. Well, you know, players aren't running. Take them off then. Especially Gomez. Gomez sticking a leg out at someone, like, he's been booked, trailing a leg, it's like, oh, you're going to send me off. You know, it's like...
The third and the fourth goals are just... They're like carbon copies, aren't they? Ball goes down the left, everyone chases after it, like it's in the schoolyard. Yeah. I mean, the third goal, I mean, I thought he killed it over.
I thought it'd gone out.
I thought he killed it over, and the next minute in the back of the net, I was like, what just happened? The camera had gone over there somewhere. You know, Spawny hits the post, and then, but exactly the same for the fourth goal.
Unbelievable.
Basically the same, they're playing in the same place. Just no
one ran in.
No one else responds.
Pickford makes a good save.
Yeah.
But he follows it in, none of ours do.
Yeah, no one responds. And you've gone from bad to absolutely embarrassing in this, you know, not that, and in a way, you know, the scoreline reflected how embarrassing we were in the game. No, they didn't deserve to win 4-0 in the case of football, but just in terms of, well, what, like you said before, why are you all not trying to play football here? Why are you not trying to win it? There's only one thing this, you know, only one winner in this. You know, you have to win the game if you want to go through to the semi-final. Yeah. You can't get a point out of this. You know, you're 2-0 down, you have to do something. And we didn't. We passed it round and there's no urgency. And they're just gutless. They're just shitbags. Gutless shitbags. I'm not asked. I'm not going to, I've not mixed my words for you know, and I'm not going to mix my words. They're a gang of fucking shitbags. And you know what? I fucking hate all of them. I've got no, again, I'm not interested. These knobheads are going to take us down. If something, you know, if we don't get the wins at home. These are going to take, I'm going to speak going further. These are going to destroy our football club as we know it. These are going to destroy our football club. And when I watch them, do you know if they were just crap? Then they'd just be crap. But they're crap and they're lazy and they don't fucking care. They just don't care. None of them care. If they cared, they'd care. It's dead easy when you've won a game of football. I'm winding myself up now, by the way. Yeah, you are, it's dead easy winning a game of football and going, I'll pass that one in, and running round and giving it Ben Godfrey one up the tunnel going, fuck off. That's bollocks, that. In my eyes, that's bollocks.
Yeah, but that's relief.
No, but that all that is, that's after the fact. Having real bollocks is in a game of footy when you're 2-0 down and gabbing a grip it and going, we're going to get something out of this. That's bollocks. Leeds United on Friday night showed that. They're 2-0 down, yes, they're playing against a team with 10 men, but they went, right, we're having this. And they go and win it. They get the rewards. If we'd gone 2-0 down on Friday night against Leeds and they had a man sent off, it would have finished 2-0. It would have finished 2-0. That's just the top and bottom of it. These are a fucking embarrassment, and I can't bear any of them. And when you dislike your own players more than you dislike players who play for other clubs, it's sad. But these are just, because as I said, I wouldn't care if they were bad players and they give everything, because then I go, well, it's not your fault you play for our club. It's not our fault that, it's not your fault we bought you. It's not your fault we're playing you. But these,
the biggest most frustrating part of it is they've got ability, and that's what's so annoying. It's attitude. They prove it at home. They've got ability. This set of players, a large portion of this set of players got 59 points last season and only won 2 out the last 10 games. But when you take that into consideration, they were 4th and got 2 wins. A year ago they were 4th. Well, they've been 4th in March, 5th. And they won 2 more games of football in 10. So this has been going on from the back end of last season into this season. But before that, they were on big points and winning a lot of games. And yet, to perform like that, to performing like they are now, well, I know there's mitigating circumstances, there is, you know, injuries all the time, injury again yesterday, but that can't be the only reason. You can't always point to that, because you've got a squad of players for a reason. You've got lads who are on good wages, who aren't doing anything. you're looking at teams, like I said before, in Nottingham Forest, in the Championship, who players are on nowhere near our wages, and yet they beat Leicester at home, they knocked Arsenal out, they ran Liverpool close, yet, you know, couple of VAR decisions, they might have beat Liverpool or took it to extra time. And yet our players step away from Goodison and the shrinking violets. They step away and it's like they've never played together before in their life. Or it's like the first thing that goes against them, that's it. You may as well walk off the pitch. You can't. What can a manager do with that? He can't give them his mentality. All you can do is keep working hard on a training ground. But at the end of the day, I said it, me and John were doing the live last week, and it was like, you change the players or you change the players, don't you? And we can't change the players. So therefore in the summer, and what I mean by that is we can't change their attitudes. We can't make them be resilient. We can't give them that desire to...
you need hunger.
If you're 2-0 down, we're not getting beat 3-0. Not 8, I'm putting a tackle in, I'm blocking it. Ours just go, it's over, do whatever. So what we have to do is get to the summer and change them, as in get them out the football club and replace them with, maybe we do have to start buying some championship players. David Moyes used to do it, worked perfect. West Ham have done it again, it's done well. Palace, who beat us yesterday, have got a few championship players, lads who aren't getting in first teams elsewhere, you know, get them in and say, you're in here.
Got to stop buying other teams' rejects.
Got to stop buying
rejects. That's for a start.
Got to stop buying players and giving them big contracts. Start getting other players on the way up and going, what? No, mate, you're on this amount of money. Them days of 100 grand a week are gone. You get to 100 grand a week when you're a 9 every week, not when you come and you're a 7 one week and a 2 the next. And that's what Everton have got. Everton's squad is full of players who can play at 7 and 8 at home and are 1s and 2s away. And therefore, that's why I do feel empathy with the manager, because he's looking at them at home and they go, you've done what, you've been resolute there, they've hardly done anything there. Great, that they probably look good in training, and then they go away and they look like they've never kicked a football before. And then it's like hang on, what's going on here? And then they work again, play at home, they're much better at home. They step away and they do that again. What can you do with that? Carlo Ancelotti said it last season. The team has 2 faces. He said it. Benitez bemoaned you can't get any consistency. And Frank Lampard said the same thing. And I'm sure if I go back, Marco Silva will have said the same thing. And probably before then, Sam Allardyce might have said
well, well then, does that come from, because they're not all the same players played for those 4 man. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, you know. This is what, the problem. This is my problem, right, is that there's some players in our squad, right, who are supposed to be leaders and get lauded, and they've been there the entire time, and yet they're supposed to be our leaders, right? And I keep on hearing the same things about them, but they've been there the entire time. And you know what I'm talking about, because he wears the fucking captain's armband.
But people,
and I'm sorry, but
there'll be people like Fabian Delph, who was there under Silva,
Michael Keane,
under Ancelotti, Michael Keane, those kind of players. It might not be that they're not, you know, they're in the corner whispering it, but it might just be the way they are. You're looking, when you go into a new dressing room, you're looking for standard setters, aren't you? You're looking for people. You go, right, well, I have to train like that.
Listen.
But I think Vince...
I'm just talking as a group.
No, but what I'm saying about like Seamus Coleman, I've said it before, to me his attitude's not in question. It's his body. Right? And I heard Iwobi last week doing a thing saying he never lets us up in training. That's great. But that's one fella in a 25-man squad. You need 6 Seamus Colemans. To be a good side, you need other people who will do the same.
I'll be honest. I just think none of them. I honestly...
No, well, he mightn't have. They certainly haven't got it on a match day.
We'll put it this way, right? If it's been the last four managers and there's only a certain amount of people who've been there the entire time, then you've got to question all of them.
Because it's a culture.
Yeah, it's a cult. That's what I mean. So why hasn't the culture? Why haven't these people changed this culture? Why haven't the leaders in the dressing room changed the culture? Why is the culture still the same? Why is the mentality the same? Why have every manager said it? Why is every single manager who've come in said it?
I think no one's been given long enough to change that culture.
No, but why haven't the change? Why have players come and gone?
Don't forget, right? We had Wolves away, the 3-0.
Yeah.
And we had Seamus, and it was great what he said, and he was absolutely right. We also had our manager saying, I've told them to go away have a think about whether they want to play for this football club and come back. That's Carlo Ancelotti doing it. Carlo Ancelotti, that's won Champions Leagues and everything. The players, it's incredible being able to work with them. And he still had to call them out publicly. And okay, they come back and started the season well, but they still tailed off. They still got beat 5-0 in his last game at City by walking around. They lost at home to Sheffield United and Fulham, who were relegated.
But that's my point. James Coleman might be an isolated figure within the dressing room in terms of like, because he might be the only one. Where are the rest of them?
See, his body's letting him down.
No, I appreciate all that. I'm just saying.
If he'd been 10 years ago, he would have set
there's
it
just not enough.
No, there's not enough.
But what I mean is there's no... The club is just continually... Honestly, if I said the things I really wanted to say, I think I'd get myself into trouble. I'm just sick of this mentality we have at this football club. I'm sick of this fucking mentality. Honestly, buying fucking boring wood kits and fucking with this and with that and with the most... We're shite. We're ultimately shite. And that's where it comes from. This fucking cosy club mentality that we've gained over the last few years of the club that does everything the right way except playing football because we've got a gang of fucking shitbags playing football for it. I'd rather have a club that's boring wood turned up and if they had no kick, what else do you about it? Fuck off. With your own kit. Or pay for travel. You don't pay travel for our fans to when they get stuck in Southampton or when they've got a game with Chelsea on a Thursday night when there's no trains coming back, but you pay for boring wood and you put them up in the Hilton. I'm fucking sick of that mentality of our football club. And this, to me, and people might say I'm completely wrong, and fine, I'm not asked if people think I'm wrong, but this mentality is festered in our football club for years and years and years now, of where we as a football club are just this lovely little football club that if you said anything to a journalist about Bill Kenwright or any of our board, they'd go, oh, they're the best board in the world. Fuck off. We have festered this mentality. It is just took root within this football club. It has took root that there's no one at our football club who's prepared to stand up and be horrible and be nasty because we've allowed this fucking stupid culture of this charity football club to take over. And it's in everybody now. It's in everybody. We're a charity. We're not a football club. We're a charity now. Football clubs win trophies. Football clubs get into Europe. Football club win fucking games of football away because they turn up and they're horrible. And they make it horrible. And they make it horrible for the opposition. And they'll fucking stand on people and they'll kick shite out of them and they'll do everything you need to do to win. Ours don't. Ours just come, kick the ball around for 15 minutes and then go, oh, we had to go, didn't we? We had to go. Fuck off. I'm fucking sick of them. They're just cheats. And I honestly, I'm just sick of them all now because you'll hear the same things now. The club will go quiet for a few days and then it'll come back and then it'll say, oh, guess what we're doing next weekend? We're doing the zip wire at Goodison and we want you all to be there. And we're like, fuck off, do me a favour. Just all of you, just fuck off. I can't stand any of you. I've never known a collection of more. Do you know what? I'd love to hate them because they were horrible, but I hate them because they're just a gang of horrible shitbags who are just going to destroy our football club. They're going to destroy our football club. They are. They are.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying that the stress is getting to you.
No, it's not. It's not. What's getting to me is this lot of footballers, pampered, given everything, given every opportunity, are just going to destroy our football club.
Well, that's
because they can't.
Up to people to not allow it.
Well, that's up to them then.
And that's up to the likes of Kevin Thelwell to get in there and start changing the culture by getting other players in, getting lads that want to be involved, championship players who want to succeed and want to fight and battle for the shirt and want to actually achieve something, not buying players that come here because the money's great and they don't have to be under any pressure really. They can sit around and wear the kit and look good in the trackie and drive the Lamborghinis and finish 10th and 11th because it's great, it suits them. that's not how you change a culture. You change a culture by getting people who come in, no knobhead policy. No, an absolute no knobhead policy.
Might want to start at the top with that then.
No, but that's it. And in the summer, listen, there's big questions to be asked in the summer about the owner, about the chairman, and about other people, because there needs to be big changes at Everton Football Club. We're just seeing this on the pitch. You're just seeing a reflection of what's gone on in the club since Mashiri took over, and that's where we are. And all we can do is hope that we get enough points to stay up, and we start changing things in the summer with Kevin Thelwell, with Frank Lampard, getting different players in, different attitudes, chasing half a dozen out of the club. People like Schenk Tosun, who wouldn't move in January because he didn't want less money. You know, could go and play football, but didn't want to. Fabian Delph, still there.
Well, they'll be gone anyway.
Oh, well, that's what I'm saying. But it's
there's other people who
that's
need
the
chasing.
culture. And then there's people who are in the team.
Other people need chasing.
There's people who are in the team every week. The centre-backs who are, you couldn't glued them all. If you glued them all together.
I changed pretty much all of them out.
So, that's all we can do. They're all we've got at the moment.
No.
And they are in, sadly, our future's in their hands. And so we have to back them and hope that somehow we get enough points to stay up. Yesterday they've gone out with a win, but they should be embarrassed. They should have been embarrassed to wear this year because they were an embarrassment to the club yesterday. But it's on them, and it's only them can change it. And the manager's got to do better as well, quite simply.
Yeah.
So, there you go. Let's have a look at the match stats of the game before we finish. They had 12 shots, we had 11. 6 on target for them, 2 for Everton. 4 big chances, which ultimately were the goals. 52% possession for them. Yeah.
But like Lampard said, though, it's not like there's loads in there.
There was nothing in
No,
it.
there's not.
There's nothing in it. They took the chance.
Give up goals.
But they didn't ever stop running, but
No.
we did.
That's what I'm saying. We just give up. We give up like we do every game.
They were 2-0 up and making sure they were getting blocks in the box and trying to make sure we were 2-0 down and walking around. So that was the difference. But they've reset in the summer. They were a mess in the summer.
They had loads and loads of players
that
on a contract.
And they ended up getting younger, hungry players in. He's created something, and it looked like they're going in the right direction, and we're sadly going in the other direction, unless we battle and scrap for everything.
Just crap. Yeah. Just crap.
There you go.
There you go. We will be continuing this over on Patreon. We are currently live on Patreon. We'll be continuing this over there. I don't know whether I'm going to get more angry or less angry. I'm not quite sure.
Less angry.
Yeah, okay. Just for my heart.
Yeah.
There you go. If you want to join us on Patreon, the link is in the description. It's on the screen. Also, thanks for watching. Next weekend we get a free weekend. Beautiful stuff. There you go. See you later.